lied to my husband and went to sleep with another man, but got caught in the strangest way possible.
Dear Redditors, I find myself writing to you today with a heavy heart and a mind overwhelmed by a mix of emotions. Recently, I stumbled upon a gut-wrenching realization that has shattered my world. My wife, whom I thought I knew so well, has been unfaithful. The innocuous sight of her car parked outside a lavish villa unveiled a secret affair with a mysterious businessman. As I gather my thoughts to share this harrowing tale, I hope to navigate through this difficult chapter with your support and insight. Let's start at the beginning of this story. I am a 45-year-old male married to a loving wife of 37 years. We have built a strong and enduring relationship over the years, filled with love, understanding, and support. Together, we have weathered life's ups and downs, celebrating our triumphs and finding solace in each other during challenging times, or so I thought. I work in the sales department of a big firm. My job requires long work hours, and I often go on site to sell our solar panels to our clients. My clients are usually wealthy and influential people. Interacting with such clients has its perks, as I get to build strong relationships and understand their specific needs and preferences. It's rewarding to witness the positive impact our solar panels have on their energy consumption and the environment. Due to my hectic work schedules, my personal life is highly jeopardized, which has put a strain on our relationships. It's challenging to find a balance between work and personal life, causing feelings of guilt and frustration from my end. On the other hand, my wife is a homemaker. I make enough money to fend for the both of us. It was her decision to take care of the house, and I, being a gentleman, supported her choice. I believe in the importance of valuing and respecting each other's decisions, and I am grateful for the dedication and hard work my wife puts into creating a comfortable home for us.
Hey everyone. Unfortunately, basically everyone who is watching these videos isn't subscribed. It would mean the world to me to quickly get out of the full screen video for 3 seconds and press that subscribe button. It's free, and you can unsubscribe anytime. Sorry for bothering, and thank you so much if you subscribed.
She said that she did not want to have kids as that would affect our relationship. She wanted nothing to come between us. She emphasized that she valued our relationship above all else and believed that having children could potentially create complications and strain our bond. She expressed her desire to prioritize our connection and maintain a strong foundation without any external factors interfering. I was respectful of her decision and was elated with the amount of love she had for me. My wife, who is quite meticulous about housekeeping, seemed to have lost interest in it a few days ago. She stated that she didn't feel like it when questioned about it. I dismissed it, figuring it might just be a phase where she wants to unwind at home and take a vacation from her regular duties. But as the days passed, I couldn't help but wonder whether she was dealing with anything more. Her total disdain for the maintenance of our house without any good cause appeared out of character. I advised her to take a few days off from this and go on a trip with her friends to unwind and clear her head. She will be able to see things from a different angle and return to the situation with more enthusiasm to face any obstacles that may come up. Furthermore, she will get much-needed support and make happy memories that will help elevate her spirits during this difficult time by spending quality time with friends. This plan made her very happy and immediately improved her attitude. She showed me the itinerary for the roughly week-long trip she and her girlfriends were planning in the coming days. They intended to travel to other cities and check out a range of tourist destinations. The plan made sure they got the most of their week-long vacation by including things like shopping, sightseeing, and sampling local cuisine. She was slowly returning to her joyful self, which made me glad. In any case, I was too preoccupied with my work to give her the time and attention she required. I thought she deserved a break from this boredom. As I was going for work, she waved farewell to me and requested me not to worry about dropping her off because she would be picking up her buddies on the way. I did not think much of it and left as usual, asking her to enjoy her road trip. All of it started with a persistent uneasy sensation that gradually became more and more obvious to me, an instinct telling me something was off. My spouse, who was traveling with her friends, hardly returned my calls promptly and would instead send me a brief text message indicating that she was too exhausted to chat. But since I was so consumed by love and trust, I was unwilling to face the fears that were growing inside of me. I chose to embrace the vows of devotion and loyalty that I thought my wife and I shared, brushing them off as paranoia. I had no idea that behind the surface, a lie was being spoken and our relationship was becoming more and more strained. Subtle contradictions and odd behaviors began to chip away at the facade over time, making me doubt everything I had assumed to be true about our marriage. On a fateful day, I was driving by my new client's gorgeous mansion tucked away in lush gardens when I stopped to check on the solar panel installation site. There it was, my wife's distinctive car, in front of me. An intense blend of inquisitiveness, rage, and sorrow drove me to look into it more. According to my wife's itinerary, she wasn't meant to be in the city. I continued to deny that it might be someone else's vehicle. Calming down, I walked up to the villa and watched the scenario develop in front of me in silence. I saw something that I never would have expected to see. My wife was smiling and conversing with a man inside the property, totally unaware of my presence. It was as if she had found a new life, a new happiness that didn't include me. The realization hit me like a ton of bricks, leaving me questioning everything I thought I knew about our relationship. A man wearing a sharp business suit came out as I rang the doorbell and watched, and much to my dismay, my wife came out and made love to this stranger. My head was reeling from the heartbreaking treachery I had just witnessed, leaving me stunned. The scene unfolded slowly, with every second leaving a deeper scar on my spirit. I felt simultaneously numb, confused, and devastated. I stood motionless, unwilling to face the reality that was being revealed to me, and my eyes began to well up with tears. I was so hurt by the betrayal that I started to doubt everything I had previously believed to be true about our relationship. I was immobile as the man persisted in soliciting for my business while I stood there feeling numb. I couldn't even think to talk. As if that would ease my anguish, my wife got up from his side and walked inside to change into some more clothes. I stumbled a lot until I eventually discovered my voice. I explained to him that my purpose was to survey the area before installing the solar panels. Seemingly pleased with my answer, the man nodded. He clarified that he was the property's owner and that he had been anticipating a visitor to check out the location. I couldn't decide whether to carry on with the inspection or just go back to my car and drive away. But curiosity won out in the end. The man started talking to me about his ideas for renewable energy on his land as we made our way to the location. He was attractive, well-built, and pleasant. Give that to him. I started looking over the land right away, hoping to see my wife if I could get a sight of her. After showing such tenderness to another man, I think she felt bad about showing herself to me. I kept looking about the land, but my thoughts kept returning to the agonizing experience of seeing my wife's love for someone else. I was still reeling from the sorrow and betrayal, and I was still feeling uneasy as I looked for any indication that she was there. In the aftermath of this shocking discovery, I found myself grappling with a whirlwind of emotions. Anguish, anger, and confusion consumed me as questions plagued my mind. How long has this affair been going on? Did I miss any signs? Who was this man my wife had become involved with? These questions, rife with self-doubt and pain, taunted me day and night as I began the tumultuous journey of confronting my spouse about her infidelity. As I mustered the courage to confront my spouse, I couldn't help but wonder if our entire relationship had been a lie. The betrayal cut deep, leaving me questioning not only her actions but also my own judgment. With a heavy heart, I knew that the conversation ahead would be difficult, but it was necessary for both of us to face the truth and decide the fate of our marriage. My wife returned after the road trip that she intended to go on. The confrontation that followed was filled with tears, accusations, and emptied promises. The person I once adored had transformed into a stranger, a person I could no longer trust. The pain of betrayal lingered in the air as we exchanged harsh words, each trying to defend our own perspective. I was left speechless as she accused me of her actions. Her words cut deep, leaving me stunned and questioning everything. It was as if the foundation of our trust had crumbled beneath us, leaving only a bitter taste of disbelief in my mouth. She said that because of my inconsistent work schedule, she was seldom alone at home and found it impossible to be happy. She told me how difficult it was for her to be happy because of my erratic schedule, which frequently made her feel alone in our empty house. She tried to keep a happy attitude, but being alone all the time affected how happy she felt. I countered her stating that it was her decision not to work and her sole decision of not to have kids. She had no right to blame me, as all I ever did was respect her decisions and follow them with no questions asked. This is what I got in return for everything I had done for her. The shattered trust left a void between us, and I wondered if our relationship could ever be repaired. The aftermath of this confrontation led to countless sleepless nights, introspection, and reflections on the future I had envisioned for my marriage. I questioned whether I could ever regain the trust that was shattered, and if staying in this relationship was truly worth the emotional toll it was taking on me. As I grappled with these thoughts, I realized that rebuilding trust would require both effort and a willingness to forgive, but ultimately, the decision of whether to salvage our marriage or move on rested solely in my hands. I knew that it would be a long and challenging journey, but I also understood that staying in a relationship solely out of fear or obligation would not lead to genuine happiness. It was time for me to prioritize my own well-being and make a choice that aligned with my values and aspirations for the future. Also, the fact that my wife did not follow me after being caught red-handed haunted me. I could never live with the fact of how little she cared about what I was going through. It was a painful realization that my wife's lack of support only intensified the emotional turmoil I was experiencing. The feeling of betrayal and abandonment weighed heavily on my heart. The words of my wife stating that she would be willing to lead a happy life being the mistress of a rich guy scarred me for life. Her words pierced my heart, leaving a lasting imprint of pain and betrayal. The thought of her choosing material wealth over our love shattered my trust in her and made me question the authenticity of our relationship. Was she always this person? Have I seen something different for all these years? Was everything that she showed me just an act? These questions lingered in my mind, casting doubt on the authenticity of our relationship. Memories of moments shared together now seemed tainted, as I wondered if there was a hidden side to her that I had failed to see. The uncertainty gnawed at me, leaving me desperate for answers and questioning the foundation of our connection. The fact that she did not feel any remorse or guilt for her actions was troubling. It raised concerns about her moral compass and empathy towards others. Her lack of remorse suggested a potential disregard for the consequences of her actions, which could have serious implications for those around her. The way she defended her actions even after being in the wrong further highlighted her lack of remorse and willingness to take responsibility. This behavior could potentially damage her relationship and make it difficult for me to trust or rely on her in the future. It is important for her to reflect on the impact of her actions and consider the feelings of those affected, in order to foster a healthier sense of empathy and accountability. Redditors, I stand here before you today, this open forum where empathy and advice thrive, seeking solace and wisdom. How does one navigate the treacherous path of healing from such an immense betrayal? I implore you to share your stories, advice, and kind words for those who have experienced similar pain in order to find some semblance of peace. The journey of healing from betrayal can be arduous and overwhelming, as it shakes the very foundation of trust and leaves deep emotional scars. It is crucial to remember that you are not alone in this struggle, and reaching out to others who have gone through similar experiences can provide invaluable support and guidance. Together, we can find solace, strength, and ultimately discover a path towards healing and inner peace. In the face of betrayal, the pain and emotional turmoil can consume even the strongest of individuals. Discovering my wife's infidelity with a mysterious businessman has left me shattered and struggling to find solid ground. Through this lengthy Reddit post, I hope to find solace, advice, and strength from those who have encountered similar trials on their life's journey. To those who have ever faced the agony of infidelity or betrayal, your stories, words of encouragement, and advice are invaluable. Together, let us heal, grow, and ultimately find the strength to move forward despite the scars of betrayal. I never thought I would find myself in this situation, questioning everything I thought I knew about my marriage. The pain and confusion are overwhelming, but I believe that by sharing my story and connecting with others who have experienced similar hardships, we can find the support and guidance needed to navigate this difficult path towards healing and rebuilding our lives. Let us come together as a community to uplift each other and find the resilience to move forward, knowing that we are not alone in our struggles. Comments *. 1. U/Reddit user 1 *. OP, I completely understand what you are going through. At the same time, I don't think there is anything wrong with what your wife has done. She wanted you to spend quality time with her and not run behind just making money. It's important to strike a balance between work and personal life, and your wife's concern for quality time together is valid. However, it's also essential to acknowledge the importance of financial stability and providing for your family's needs. Finding a compromise that satisfies both of your needs could be a constructive way forward. If she found that balance in someone else, you are the one to blame for it. You pushed her to her extremes to take such a step. All she wanted from you was love, attention, and a little acknowledgement. You failed in providing her with the basic necessities in a loving relationship. She chose someone who provided her with all of that. 2. You/Reddit user 2 *. OP, I completely understand the situation you are in. I was myself in a similar situation a few years ago. I found my wife cheating with my business partner. He would come often to my place to discuss steps to grow our business. Whenever I went on pitches at other places, I found that my business partner would find excuses to leave early or ask me to go alone. One day I forgot my pitch and went home to get it, and I saw his car parked outside my house. I thought that he had come to accompany me, and when I went inside, what I saw shocked my eyes. They were both lying naked in my bed. That's when I decided not to trust another woman ever in my life. 3. You/Reddit user 3 *. Women all around the world are just plain materialistic. They just pounce from one man to another once they find out he has money or possessions. They prioritize wealth and material gain over genuine connections and emotional fulfillment. This stereotype perpetuates the belief that women are solely interested in financial security, disregarding their individual desires, aspirations, and the complexities of their relationships. However, it is important to recognize that this generalization is unfair and does not accurately represent the diverse experiences and values of women globally. I caught my wife in the act cheating with our gardener, so I destroyed her life doing this. Hey, Reddit. I never thought it would happen to me. I had always believed that my wife and I had a solid, loving relationship that would endure through anything life threw our way. But one day, when I discovered my wife was having an extramarital affair with my gardener, everything changed. The shock and betrayal I felt in that moment were overwhelming. It shattered the foundation of trust we had built over years, leaving me questioning everything I thought I knew about our marriage. I am a 40-year-old male with a stunning wife of 35. We have been married for almost 2 years now. I wanted us to move to a bigger house with a swimming pool, a nice garden, and a barbecue area. My wife has always been fascinated by the idea of a villa. So, on my wife's birthday, I gifted her keys to our new house. I had everything prepared and ready to move in, including all the furniture and decorations that she had always dreamed of. It was a moment filled with excitement and joy as we envisioned the countless memories we would create in our new home. We couldn't wait to invite friends and family over for pool parties and barbecues, enjoying the beautiful garden and creating a haven where we could relax and unwind together. As time progressed, it was getting difficult for us to upkeep the house. We didn't have a lot of spare time to do household chores. So, we hired a gardener to take care of our yard and keep our property looking beautiful. The gardener, named Carlos, quickly became a valuable asset to our family. He had an incredible green thumb and transformed our yard into a vibrant oasis. Carlos not only maintained the lawn and trimmed the hedges, but he also introduced us to various plants and flowers that added a burst of color to our surroundings. We also hired a weekly cleaner who would come in once a week and deep clean the entire house. This helped us maintain the house and also have friends and family over without being judged for not having a sparkling house. Carlos was a young and dynamic person. He was 28 years old, well-built, and had a charismatic personality that attracted people towards him. Carlos possessed a natural charm and had an infectious energy that made him the life of any gathering. He exuded confidence in every step, leaving a lasting impression on everyone he met. At first, my wife and I were both pleased with the work he did. He was polite, friendly, and always seemed happy to do whatever we needed. But then I began to notice small changes in my wife's behavior. She started spending more time outside when he was there, and would often bring him a glass of lemonade or a snack. I couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease as their interactions became more frequent and intimate. It seemed like there was a subtle shift in their dynamic that I couldn't quite put my finger on. I didn't think anything of it at first. I trusted my wife completely and thought that maybe she was just being friendly. A few months after we bought the house, my wife started seemingly less and less interested in having guests over. I would notice her spacing out during our conversations with our guests, which were very unlike her. I asked her if there was something bothering her, but she brushed it off, saying that she was just feeling a little under the weather. However, her behavior continued to concern me as it persisted over time. I decided to give her some space. I hoped that giving her some space would allow her to open up about whatever was truly bothering her. However, as time went on, her disinterest in socializing became more pronounced, and I couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease about the situation. I knew it was important to address this issue before it started affecting our relationship and our ability to enjoy our new home together. My work was booming and I was getting calls from all places to expand my business. I was very content with the way things were going for me. My wife insisted that I should expand my business so that we can fall back on it during bad times. I gave it a thought and decided to take her advice seriously. I realized that expanding my business would not only provide us with a safety net but also open up new opportunities for growth and success. With this newfound motivation, I began strategizing and exploring different avenues to expand my business effectively. I researched market trends and analyzed potential target markets to identify areas of high demand. Additionally, I sought advice from industry experts and attended business conferences to gain insights on successful expansion strategies. By adopting a proactive approach and implementing innovative marketing techniques, I aim to attract a larger customer base and establish a strong presence in new markets. After careful deliberation, I had finally picked out a new city to expand my business. I had to go on a 2-week business trip and was very skeptical about leaving my wife behind in the big villa all by herself. I suggested that she ask one of her friends or sisters to come over and give her company. However, my wife reassured me that she would be perfectly fine and even excited to have some alone time. She assured me that she would take necessary precautions to ensure her safety and enjoy the peacefulness of the villa. Reluctantly, I agreed to trust her judgment and left detailed instructions for her to follow in case of any emergencies. As I embarked on my business trip, a mixture of worry and anticipation filled my mind, hoping that everything would go smoothly for both of us during our time apart. I was unaware of what was brewing between my wife and Carlos, the gardener behind my back. I was done with my business set up earlier than the intended time. I had a few more days from my scheduled departure. I decided to spend one day shopping for a few things for my dear wife. I wanted to make sure I found the perfect gifts for her, so I researched the best shopping areas in the city. With my list in hand, I embarked on a day-long shopping spree, excited to surprise my wife with thoughtful presents upon my return home. As I wandered through the bustling streets, I couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation and joy. The vibrant displays and charming boutiques offered a plethora of options, making it difficult to narrow down my choices. Nonetheless, I carefully selected items that I knew would bring a smile to my wife's face, each one representing a cherished memory or shared interest between us. With the gifts carefully wrapped and tucked away in my bag, I couldn't wait to see the look of delight on her face when she saw me early, and also the things I had carefully selected for her. I did not tell my wife that I would be home earlier than expected. I wanted to surprise her with a candlelight dinner. So, I sneaked into the house trying to make as little noise as possible. As I tiptoed through the hallway, I couldn't help but feel a rush of excitement, imagining the look of delight on my wife's face when she discovered my surprise. The soft glow of the candles illuminated the dining room, creating a warm and intimate ambience that I knew would make the evening unforgettable. I carefully set the table with her favorite dishes and poured a glass of her preferred wine, ensuring everything was perfect for our special evening together. As I waited for her arrival, my heart raced with anticipation, eager to see the joy and happiness that would fill her eyes when she walked through the door. As I was returning satisfied from the arrangements, I could hear faint laughter coming from the jacuzzi upstairs. That was weird, as it was just my wife at home. Who could she be laughing with? Was she on her phone? Why would she take her phone to the jacuzzi? She rarely did that. She liked her peace and quiet when she was relaxing. She liked reading books while in the jacuzzi. I was curious and wanted to inspect it. I decided to quietly make my way upstairs, trying not to alert my wife of my presence. As I reached the top of the stairs, the sound of laughter grew louder, making me even more intrigued. I peeked into the bathroom and was surprised to see my wife, fully immersed in the jacuzzi, and there just beside her I saw our gardener in a compromising position. My heart sank as I realized the truth that had been hidden from me. The shock and betrayal I felt in that moment were overwhelming, shattering the trust one had once held so dearly. I was in shock. My wife and I had never had any major problems in our marriage, and I had never suspected her of being unfaithful. But there she was, kissing and touching our gardener in a way that left no doubt as to what was going on. My mind raced as I tried to make sense of the situation. Questions flooded my thoughts. How long had this been happening? Was there something lacking in our relationship that led her to seek affection elsewhere? That is when it dawned on me that I never saw the gardener anywhere around when I entered the villa, which I found quite weird. Now I know why he always seemed to conveniently disappear whenever I arrived. The pieces of the puzzle were finally falling into place, and it became clear that their affair had been going on right under my nose. The betrayal stung deeply, and I couldn't help but wonder if there were any other secrets they had been keeping from me. I slammed open the door and rushed inside. My eyes were burning with rage. My heart pounded in my chest as I confronted them. My voice trembled with intensity as I demanded an explanation for their actions. Initially taken aback, my spouse began to cry and attempted to apologize, claiming that it had been an error. He was just trying to help her because she screamed after tripping herself. I could see how seamlessly she was lying her way out. I had been downstairs the whole time and there were no screams. The gardener seemed almost indifferent, as if he didn't really care about the damage he had done to our family. His nonchalant attitude only fueled my anger further. I demanded an explanation from the gardener, wanting to understand how he could be so callous. It was clear that his lack of remorse only deepened the rift between us, leaving me questioning whether forgiveness was even possible. The gardener was so emotionless about the entire encounter. He said that my wife was the one who invited him to the jacuzzi asking for a back massage. I couldn't believe his response. He seemed completely unfazed by the accusation, insisting that he was simply following my wife's request. I knew my wife would never do such a thing. His nonchalant demeanor only fueled my anger further. I confronted my wife about the gardener's claims, but she vehemently denied ever inviting him to the jacuzzi or requesting a back massage. The gardener's nonchalant demeanor and my wife's denial left me feeling torn between believing them and questioning the trust in my marriage. I demanded him to leave immediately, determined to get to the bottom of this unsettling situation. In the days and weeks that followed, my life was turned upside down. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, and I couldn't think straight. I felt like everything I had built with my wife had been a lie, and that I had been a fool for not seeing it sooner. Every moment felt like a painful reminder of the betrayal, and I struggled to find solace in anything. The once vibrant colors of life now seemed dull and meaningless, leaving me questioning my own judgment and wondering how I could move forward from this devastating revelation. As days passed, all I could think of was what I could do to make myself feel better. I decided that I would not divorce my wife. I hired a new and hot gardener by the name Ashley. I made a special contract with her and made her wear skimpy clothes. I openly flirted with her in front of my wife. I wanted her to know how it feels when someone you love and trust breaks it. I wanted to create a sense of empathy within my wife, hoping that experiencing the pain of betrayal would make her understand the impact of her actions. I had specifically hired this new gardener just to flirt with me to make my wife watch it. My wife was not allowed to go out of the house, no phone calls, and had to seek my permission if she wanted to talk to someone. I created a prison for her in the villa itself. She was allowed to talk only to me. I forced her to watch me and hot gardener flirt our hearts out. I did exactly as she explained how things transpired between her and Carlos. Every day after breakfast, my wife was to narrate how things slowly developed between her and Carlos. Later in the evening, Ashley and I would recreate the scenes she described, acting out the conversations and interactions between her and Carlos. It became our own little performance. As days passed, my wife begged me to leave her alone. I reminded her that she had made a conscious decision to cheat on me, and I had no control over what she did. The same way, she had no control over what I do. I started inviting Ashley to our bedroom at night. My wife was to watch us sleep together. I made my wife choose the clothes that Ashley would be wearing every night to bed. She was supposed to sit on the couch and watch me and Ashley enjoy the night till both of us fell asleep. This arrangement created a strange dynamic in our relationship, as my wife struggled with her emotions while witnessing our intimate moments. However, I believed it was necessary for her to fully understand the consequences of her actions and the impact they had on our marriage. A few months later, I came to accept that our marriage was over and that it was time to move on. I focused on healing myself and rebuilding my life, finding solace in the fact that I deserved better than being betrayed. It wasn't easy, and there were plenty of hard days along the way. But I eventually found the strength to pick up the pieces and start over. I got a divorce, as it was no fun going on and on with this punishment. I asked my wife to leave the house, and she has no right to carry anything with her when she leaves. Looking back on it now, I realize that I am not alone. There are countless stories out there of people who have been cheated on by their partners. It's a painful, heartbreaking experience that can leave deep scars. But it's also something that you can survive. Finding solace in the experiences of others who have gone through similar situations can provide a sense of comfort and reassurance. So here I turn to my Redditors to share my story. I may have been brutal in the punishment, but it was only because of the deep love I once had for my wife. I hope that by sharing my story, I can find some guidance and support from fellow Redditors who may have experienced similar challenges in their relationships. It is important for me to emphasize that my intention behind the punishment was rooted in the love and concern I once felt for my wife's well-being. Comments *. 1. U/Reddit user 1 *. It's important to remember that healing takes time and everyone's journey is unique. Seeking support from friends, family, or even professional help can provide the necessary guidance and strength to rebuild trust and move forward in life. Remember, you are not defined by the actions of others, and with self-care and resilience, you can emerge stronger from this challenging experience. Sharing your story and seeking support from loved ones or joining support groups can help in the healing process, reminding you that there is hope for a brighter future beyond the pain of betrayal. 2. U/Reddit user 2 *. OP, if you're reading this and have been through something similar, know that you are not alone. It's okay to feel angry, hurt, or betrayed. But it's also important to remember that this is not the end of your life. You can and will get through this, and there is a bright future waiting for you on the other side. Take the time to heal and prioritize self-care. 3. U/Reddit user 3 *. I bet she deserved every bit of punishment for this betrayal. A man gives you everything that you ever dreamed of, and this is how you repay him with. It's truly disheartening to witness such a blatant disregard for loyalty and gratitude. It's difficult to fathom how someone could be so callous towards someone who has given them everything they've ever wanted.